Alright, so this is AEG's limited edition 10-piece combo kit. The tools themselves are exactly the same as all of AEG's tools, but they've just been rebranded for this new black look for this limited edition release. I've had these tools for a few weeks now, and I just want to have a talk through what tools are included in this kit and my thoughts on every single tool here. Alright, so starting from the front, we do have AEG's multi-tool. I like the overall shape and design of it. The handle's nice, it's an easy tool to hold, and it's very easy to get attachments on and off. Just by pulling out this tab at the back here, we can rotate that front little nose of it, slide an attachment on, drop that flat, and lock it in place. We've got a dial at the front and it goes up to 6 different speeds. Although this does do the job alright, it's not the most powerful multi-tool I've used before. It's definitely great for a lot of basic jobs, and most of the time when you buy a combo kit like this, multi-tools aren't going to be a tool you use a lot. So it's definitely fine for doing an odd job here and there, but if for some reason you're heavily reliant on a multi-tool and you need a lot out of it, I don't think this is the one for that. We'll move back to the grinder. This is a 125mm grinder. Same thing with this tool as well, it's actually built really well. Obviously we got the side handle here which we can twist off and put on whatever side we want. And we've got that little trigger for the safety switch as well, which in my opinion is the best way for a kill switch to be put into a grinder. I definitely prefer that over other brands that just have the little tab that you push forward and then it stays on. For an 18-volt grinder, this tool is awesome. I've used it a fair bit now. You can see this blade I've got on it is almost dead. It cuts well, it's really easy to hold, and the grinder here is the most dangerous tool you've got in this combo kit. So it's really important that you can get a good hold on this tool. Moving back to the blower, this one's a little bit more interesting. It actually is the best feeling blower I've ever held, and the attachment, the nozzle at the end is a little bit different. We don't have that circular cylinder shape most blower attachments have, but this rubber is very flexible as well, so you can morph that into whatever shape you want. So if you do want to direct the air to get into a really small tight gap, it's easy enough to pinch half that nozzle and make that happen. One thing this blower doesn't have that a lot of its competitors do have though, is it doesn't have a way to just leave the blower on. We've got the trigger that you pull back on, and once you've pulled back, you've got no way to lock that trigger in place and just leave the tool going. Most other blowers have a little switch there, which is quite similar to the switch you find on your drills and impact drivers. And we can lock that in and that will just hold the blower on in place. We've got the circular saw. This is a small 165mm circular saw. I love this thing. It is amazing. I think for a battery saw, especially an 18-volt battery saw, you want them to be the smaller 165mm size. One of the biggest perks of these saws is how easy it is to move around with you, and especially if you're doing a framing job and you're in the roof cutting stuff on the roof. This is firstly very easy to move around to whatever position you want to cut, and secondly we do have the inbuilt rafter hook there which you can hook over a rafter. We've got the sleek design where the battery slides in the back there. It's hidden really well. It's a great build. I actually am a huge fan of this saw. In terms of power, I've done a fair few tests with this saw on my main channel, and it does hold up quite well, especially ripping through LVLs. As an 18-volt tool, it's not going to fly through the LVL, it's not going to fly through rips, but it can get the job done, and that's all you need. Moving further back, we've got the full-size recip saw. I don't think there's any special mentions to make about this tool. We do have the inbuilt rafter hook, which is pretty nice. And honestly, this tool doesn't have anything that makes it stand out or anything that makes it worse in the competition. It's just on a level playing field. It's a good recip, it does the job. Now we're getting into some of AEG's standout tools. So the impact driver and the drill are probably the best designed impact drivers and drills I've ever felt before. I'm talking about the grip, how the tool feels to hold, how the weight's distributed around the tool. These tools just feel right to use, and what's even better is I've done numerous tests now on the impact drivers and drills from AEG, and these are some of the best 18-volt or potentially the best 18-volt drill and drivers on the market. I'm a massive fan of this one. I still haven't put the rafter hook on though, and that's doing my head, and obviously that's included in the bag. We've got a few little attachments in there that we'll go through in a second. And then we got the drill as well, which as I said before, this tool is just beautifully crafted. It's really easy to hold. I love the grip and feel of it, and it performs really well in all the head-to-head tests I've done. We've got the impact wrench. This tool, once again, it's built well. I've tried using it a few times, installing Dynabolts or concrete screws to tie my frame down. It does do the job, it gets them in there. I've had a few times where it has started to struggle tightening some of those bolts off. And to be honest, I haven't been able to put that down if it was the tool or if I just didn't clean out the hole properly. For the most part, from what I've seen with this tool, I'm happy with it, but I wouldn't go and say it's a standout tool better than the competition. One thing that we do have in this bag though, and I just found out what this is for the other day, but it's a little soft cover, another little rubber cover that you can put over the tool. And since it's over like that, obviously we've got a few little slots in the cover for the fan so that the motor can still breathe. But the reason for this cover is more if you're using it for a mechanical approach, you're putting it in motors so you don't knock it and scrape it on the motors or you get grease all over the impact wrench. In terms of construction, I probably won't be using this. It looks a lot better without it as well, having the white writing on the AEG. We've got the rotary hammer. This whole build and design of this rotary hammer feels very similar to my old DeWalt rotary hammer, which was a 54 volt one. Obviously that 54 volt one was more powerful than this, but this has been serving me really well so far. I've used this, a few of the boys I work with have had a shot using this as well, and it's another tool that's great. It's built so well, but I wouldn't come here bragging saying it's better than the competition. It's just on a level playing field. It does what you need it to do and it does it well. Something that this has, which I haven't seen a lot of other brands put in, is a built-in rafter hook for the rotary hammer. It's something that I personally won't use much at all. I'm not doing a lot of commercial work with slabs above my head where I'll be needing to use this. So for my application, it's not really needed, but I know there are other trades out there where this thing could be a lifesaver. All right, the last tool we have is a vacuum, or as they call it, the dust extractor. And to be completely honest with you, I haven't used this tool at all. Even though I haven't used it, we've just got a release trigger up there where we can open up the vacuum, and it looks like it'll be very easy to empty out and just keep using. This has a little switch on the top as well that you can push forward, and that is just going to leave the vacuum on as well. Unlike the blower, you can leave this on without having to hold the trigger. The combo kit also comes with this AEG bag, and I am able to fit all of the tools in the bag. When everything is in the bag though, I haven't been able to zip it shut. You might be able to if you are pretty precise with where you put everything, but at least I can hold everything in the bag and take it around with me. I'm just opening up now for the first time. We've got a reset blade. We had a few Phillips head bits for the impact driver, which is awesome because that's the bit you need to screw on all your rafter hooks. So it's got the bit in place so you can actually set your tools up straight away. I've just been lazy and haven't done it. They've actually supplied 4 rafter hooks, which is one for the wrench, drill and driver. And I suppose we've got another one which looks like it will attach to the multi-tool as well. I don't, from memory, remember any other brands having a multi-tool with the rafter hook. I could be wrong, but I do love that attachment there. And talking about attachments, we do have a multi-tool cutting blade as well, which comes with the kit. And on that note, I might use a blade to actually show you how these blades go on. We've got this little lever at the back there, as I said before. We'll pull that up, and then that makes this little dial at the front, this little nose of the tool loose. You can turn that on a 90-degree angle, and your blade slides through there. I'm just going to wiggle it around until the teeth line up. We'll stick that little bit flat over the blade, and then as we pull down this lever, it's going to pull that into place, and now that blade's secure. That little top bit won't come off anymore, and that's locked into place. We've also got a grinding disc as well, which comes with the kit for the grinder. If you do want to see some of these tools being used, I've done a fair bit of content on this combo kit already on my main channel, Dave Does Carpentry. I'm just keeping this video brief to go over the tools, my initial feel for the tools, and talking about stuff that you won't really get when you look at the description and read about the tools when you go to buy them. It's a great combo kit if you're thinking of buying it. I do think AEG tools are some of the best 18 volt tools on the market.